Push on the beat.
Right, 6 August 2025, and as promised, I'm here to deliver to you an update on the judgment that we're expecting for the burial case of former late President of Zambia, Edgar Lungu. And the information that I have is the latest information that you can ever get on this case. So I have been at court in the morning, and I managed to talk to quite a number of people at the court. And the current state of the case is that the judges are still busy writing the judgment. So the judgment is not yet ready for delivery or for publication. So I don't know what is the process that takes place behind the scenes with the judges, but I know that if there are 3 judges, they all have to look at the judgment and agree on it and then publish it. So at the moment, the judgment is not yet ready and it's about 12 now. So which means we can either get it much later today or even tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I don't know how long the process takes for this judgment to be delivered. So the judgment, as far as I got the information from the correct people, is not even done. It's not even finished with the writing. So they have not even, so not all judges have seen the judgment or concluded on the judgment. That is what I've told. I've been told that it's actually still in progress of being written. It's not yet complete. So they're not yet done. They're not at the point where you can say the judgment was written and then it's being checked or it's not yet there. It's still in the process of being written. So I don't know why it's taking longer, because the judge had promised that it was going to be available by Tuesday. So as you can see, we're almost at the end of Wednesday and the judgment is still not yet ready. They have not concluded writing it. However, what I managed to do was to get more information. So more information has come forward, and one of the most important documents that are in this judgment, in this case, sorry, is a settlement proposal that was made by Vincent Kafula. So Vincent Kafula's documents are actually surprisingly much better now. So the documents that he did now are much, much better than the documents he did in the past. So on the 26th of July, Vincent Kafula did present a settlement agreement to the court. And it's a very interesting settlement agreement. And eventually, when the court is done, the case is done, you'll be able to see these documents. And what he's saying in this document is that both parties have got a chance of succeeding. And that will not be a good outcome. So if the government of Zambia succeeds and forces the Lungu family to move the body, it won't be a good outcome. If the Lungu family succeeds and buries Lungu in South Africa, it won't be a good outcome. So he made a proposal for settlement. And this is very interesting. So let me read for you the proposal. And I know that the judges have looked at this proposal also. So some of these things might end up coming out in the judgment. So he says the interim interdict granted on 25 June, suspending the burial of the late former President Lungu in South Africa, be extended for an additional 30 days. So this means if the settlement agreement had been taken, then the court would have ruled that instead of burying anywhere, Lungu would not be buried until September. So until the 4th of September. This will allow sufficient time for the intervening parties to go to the court in Zambia to address the family's concerns and secure assurance that mitigate their fears of persecution. So you see, the Lungu family really doesn't want to bury South Africa. They are also negotiating because they are afraid that they will continue to be persecuted. So according to Kafula, he says they would then move this burial to 30 days and move the whole court case to Zambia, to the Constitutional Court. So that is number 3.1. Number 4, declare the former President's Benefits Act unconstitutional to the extent that it prohibits former presidents from political participation and violates principles of justice, equity, and the rule of law under Zambian Constitution and international human rights. So the judges say this is not possible. So number 4, which is to declare the Benefits Act unconstitutional, the judges in South Africa cannot rule that about another country. Issue an interdict restraining the government of Zambia from further persecution, harassment, or unjust legal proceedings against the Lungu family. This is not possible. In a South African court cannot order a Zambian government to do something. You understand? This is what the judge said. Declare the forfeiture of the Lungu family's properties, e.g. the flats of the first respondent and the farm of the third respondent, unconstitutional due to the failure to follow procedure outlined in Act 999 of the Constitution of Zambia. So all these things, the court here cannot do it. So basically, the suggestion is that this court case must now be taken to Zambia, and then the Zambian Constitutional Court makes a ruling. According to Kafula, Kafula was now using a lawyer, I think. If you look at the documents that is now done, they look like they were done by a lawyer. And then declare unconstitutional and order the revision of the specific provisions in the Public Order Act, the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act, and the Penal Code. So all these things, the South African court cannot do. But this is the proposal. And then let's look at the burial arrangement that he proposed. Upon the Constitutional Court of Zambia granting the above relief or providing sufficient assurances to address the family's fears of persecution, the Lungu family agrees to facilitate the repatriation of the late former president's remains to Zambia for a dignified burial at Embassy Park. The burial will be conducted in accordance with Zambian national tradition, respecting the late former president's legacy as head of state, while incorporating the family's wishes for a ceremony that aligns with the cultural preferences as permitted under South African law. The applicant agrees to respect the family's decision regarding the attendance of current president at the funeral, acknowledging the respondents' objections as outlined in the head of arguments. And then let's go to financial and logistical support. Remember what I'm reading is a settlement agreement. The applicant agrees to cover all costs associated with the repatriation and burial of the former late president, including transportation of remains, accommodation, and other reasonable expenses incurred by the Lungu family and the mourners. So all the people that are seeing there, he's proposing that the government of Zambia must pay for them to be here in South Africa and must pay for their stay. If they're staying at a hotel for the past 30 days, the Zambian government must pay and must pay for their flights, must refund them for their costs. That is what Kafula is proposing. The applicant further agrees to reimburse the cost incurred by mourners on 25 June, including transportation to and from Zambia, accommodation, and other related expenses as requested in the heads of argument. The applicant will provide a written undertaking to restore the late former president's pension benefits as required under the Benefits of Former Presidents Act and ensure prompt payment to the family, acknowledging that the prior suspension of benefits was unlawful. So they want the government of Zambia to say what happened was unlawful in writing. So do you see what is happening now? The proposal here is that the case moves from South Africa it goes to Zambia, to the Constitutional Court. The burial doesn't take place until as much as the 4th of September. And then these things happen in Zambia. So the Zambian Constitutional Court is to be involved. The South African court by itself, according to Kafula, is not able to make some of the judgment. So they can't force one side or the other. And this is the proposal, a settlement agreement, which was filed on the 2nd of July. So the judges had it in front of them when they denied Kafula. The applicant agrees to withdraw its application to strike out portions of the respondent's other affidavit, recognizing that allegations of persecution are relevant to the family's decision to seek private burial in South Africa and provide lesser context to their apprehension of harm. This one, I tend to disagree with it because which court are we at now? So if on Zambia, it's a new application. So this doesn't arise. So when you get to Zambia, if you go to the Constitutional Court, and the lawyer has agreed to it, so the lawyer of Lungu has agreed to go to Zambia during cross-examination. He did agree that he could go to Zambia to make an application in the Constitutional Court. So there is a likelihood that the Constitutional Court of Zambia will eventually play a part in what we're seeing. If my reading of what Kafula is saying here is correct. And as I said, Kafula's documents have dramatically improved, which means he's now using a lawyer. Something has happened. The guys who would access the file will tell you that the document that Kafula filed in the beginning was gibberish. This one is not gibberish. The settlement agreement is not gibberish. It's well written. It appears to me that he has now used a lawyer and is not doing it himself. Each party agrees to pay its own legal costs in the current proceedings before the High Court of South Africa, recognize that this settlement aims to avoid further litigation and promote reconciliation. The applicant agrees to cover the intervening parties' reasonable costs for initiating the Constitutional Court petition in Zambia, as those efforts are intended to facilitate the resolution of this dispute and ensure the late former president's dignified burial in Zambia. I don't know whether this means Kafula has already gone to the Constitutional Court in Zambia. So I wish that we knew his number. And if Kafula sees this video, ask him to call me so that we understand if he has already filed a case in Zambia. So the way it reads to me, it appears as if he is saying he has already filed a case at Zambia Constitutional Court. So I'm not aware and I don't know how to find out. So if you know Kafula's number, ask him to call me so that we can confirm if he has filed a case at the Constitutional Court of Zambia. Because he says here, the applicant agrees to cover the intervening parties' reasonable costs for initiating the Constitutional Court petition in Zambia. So it means to me, he might have filed something in Zambia. So we must check if he has not filed something in Zambia. Then dispute resolution mechanism. Should any agreement arise regarding the implementation of this settlement, the parties agree to engage in good faith mediation facilitated by a neutral third party appointed by mutual consent prior to resorting to further litigation. So this is basically his proposal, which was submitted to the judges as part of his case. And it appears to me to have been written by a lawyer. So I urge both parties to consider this proposal in good faith and provide a response by 2 August. Of course, that date has passed. It was not responded to. And Kafula was not allowed to join the case. However, I see the judges looking at what he proposed as a settlement. It's a big possibility that the judges will look at what he proposed as a settlement. All right, I think we've covered this interesting case. I went to the court. I literally went into the judge's office. I'm not talking about phoning. I was there today. So I went into the judge's office. I talked to people inside, and they advised me that the preparation is still ongoing. The actual judgment is not finalized. So we might not get it today. We might get it tomorrow. We might get it the day after, all the way up to Friday. That's what they said to me, because it's actually not done. The writing is not done. They're not finished with writing. So once they're finished with the writing, then we can say what has happened. I've got the contacts. Tomorrow at this same time, I'll come back here at 12 and we'll update you to say what has been said. Has it been written? At what stage is the judgment? At the moment, it's not done, the writing. So you might get it today, you might not get it today, because things move fast. I don't know what kind of pages. Maybe it's 1 page. Maybe it's 10 pages. I don't know. So if it's 1 page, obviously, once it's finished, they will then check it and agree. But if it's 10 pages, it's a different story. So if they did a judgment and then reasons, it will take longer. And remember what I said to you, the longer it takes, the more it appears to me like Lungu is going to be sent home. So that is, if it's a short judgment, like application dismissed, it's application dismissed. It don't take days. So the longer it's taking, the more likely it is that Lungu is going to be sent home. And then reasons have to be given. But if it's application dismissed, it's let him be buried where he wants. And what is 1 line, 2 lines? No reasons required. I agree with you, Vastik. I agree with you. It's most likely, very much. Okay, guys from Zimbabwe, I will deal with the issues they're raising at another time. Right now, I just want to update the guys in Zambia so that they don't stay in the dark. And I did go to the court. I walked in there. I talked to people physically. And Kafula has proposed what I was reading here, which I think, the part which I think is going to happen, or most likely to happen, is the judges here will say, extend the interdict, send the court to Zambia. Then the Zambia High Court makes a ruling on constitutional matters and then send back, make a ruling. Zambia court makes a ruling. That would be much more preferable. And I see that happening. If we look at the proposal by Kafula here, concentrate on your country and start doing business than this. That is already Osh Wood. You're likely a PF guy. Ananzani, that guy from PF. There's a very short guy from PF. He doesn't like me, you know. Like when he sees me, ask security to throw me out. That's crazy. It will never work in South Africa. South Africa is not a despotic country. So I talked to the PF guys and I said to them, you have to be nice to people. Like you can't fight people everywhere you go. And if you fight people, they'll fight you. He simply doesn't want Hichilema to be part of the funeral proceedings. Hichilema must wait and all that he will not attend the burial period. It's not possible. President Hichilema is going to attend the portion where dignitaries and presidents of other countries are coming to Zambia. There is no person who is allowed in Zambia to receive presidents of other countries while President Hichilema is there. You understand? So you have to understand how this works. The country has a president. And when Lungu died, he did not leave an instruction that he must be buried in South Africa. This was in court. It was agreed in court that when Lungu died, he didn't say bury me in South Africa. He did not leave such an instruction. His only instruction was President Hichilema should not preside over his burial. And now the judge were saying, what is to preside? Is presiding sitting at the back and watching? Is there no priest who is going to be presiding over the burial? So what is presiding? That is the only question left. It is agreed that both family and government agreed to move the body to Zambia. And this was said in open court. You can go to SABC. It's there. So to what extent should President Hichilema perform his duties, which are constitutional? And to what extent should the family's wishes interfere with President Hichilema's duties? That's the question. And I think it is agreed, and it was written in a program, that President Hichilema will receive the presidents, but will not speak and will not receive the body. That has already been agreed by the lawyers of the government of Zambia. So you must understand that there's no disagreement. The disagreement is the family also has other requests. If you look at Kafula's settlement, it encapsulates everything that the family of Lungu wants, which is their properties, their court cases, their farm, their floods, and that in future they must be having immunity, they must have the pension of Lungu. That is what is left. There's no disagreement about burial, about moving the body to Zambia. There's no disagreement. There has been so many concessions by the government of Zambia. So to me, this is done. This is the done deal. But I foresee the judgment coming from the Zambia Constitutional Court, which means we might have another extension, if possible. However, if that doesn't come, we might have a situation where they order the repatriation to Zambia, but delay the burial if there's disagreement. Or they could just order the repatriation and give instructions to the burial proceedings. It's possible. All right, I think I've covered everything. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. Let's see if I have anything else to say here before I go. As I was saying, I was in court and you saw me there at court. So I was at court with the family. There's no member of the family who doesn't know me. We are friends with the family. The only guy who doesn't like me is a short guy. It's crazy, man. I don't know why. Let me show you the guy I'm talking about. You guys tell me who this guy is. It's crazy. I've never seen a guy who doesn't like me like this guy. Like he calls police to remove me from court. I am no one. So let me show you this guy. When he sees me, he's like, why did you say Lungu is going to, why did you say Lungu is going to, he's been taken by plane? Who is this guy? Someone write in the comments. Who is this guy? Tell me more about this guy. Is that given? That man, guys, I know him. I know Given Lubida. Every day he's on Facebook talking. How would I not know Given? I know Given very much. The guy doesn't like me at all. But he'll never be president of Zambia. It will never happen. President Chilema is going to be so badly in the next elections. You will see it. I can assure you. Okay. It's about Given Lubinda. Yes, yes. Given Lubinda is not going to win the elections. He's going to lose very badly. If he contests, he's going to lose. Let's all say Given is going to lose. He's going to lose very badly. And I'll see him very soon. And we'll talk. He has to make peace with me because I'm a very nice guy. Okay, thank you guys, my friends from Zambia. I'll see you again very soon. I was in Zambia 2 weeks back. And so much love I got in Zambia and Lusaka. So I'll see you. I'll keep you updated tomorrow at 12. I'll give you another update. I've got direct access to the court. I actually go to the court and talk to people in there. You will never be out of information. As soon as we get information, we'll let you know. I want to see the body of our former president, please. Okay, I think you're right. The yellow man is bitter. He's crazy. And the guy is in charge. I think Given is the one who's causing the problem. So guys, let me say what I think. Given Lubinda is the one who's causing the problem. He's the one who's causing the family to take a hard line. It's crazy. But anyway, we'll deal with it. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And a good afternoon to you. I'll see you about later on. Let me take a break and enjoy any news that comes out. We'll update.